Okay, morning everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. So as Robin said, we're going to take you through the connection to Facebook giving in a bit more detail. And you've got the chance to answer questions, ask and answer questions as we go. So let's see what we're going to cover. I'm going to take you through the pros and cons of the Facebook giving tools, just to give you a bit of a background of what it does. Why would you use our integration? How does it work? How do you set it up? What can you do with it? And we've got some FAQs, assumptions and gotchas that we've already sort of headed up. So we'll have a look through some of those. And then there's a list of resources that you can use after the call. As we said, this will be recorded, but after the call, so you've got other places that you can go to. So the Facebook giving tools give you a lot of things that you can do. So it's really easy for your supporters to set up a fundraiser on Facebook. There's a huge donor pool there of all their friends and connections. So everybody can make simple, fast donations. It's a worldwide tech platform, as we know. You don't have to do any of that tech stuff, don't have to get involved at all. And it's free for nonprofits and charities. But you don't get lots of data from Facebook. It's not easy to see all of that Facebook information, the fundraising and donor information in one place, and certainly not against all your other fundraising. You'd be collecting gift aid manually and also allocating the codes in your accounting system manually as well. So with our connection, we help you to do all that stuff a bit more automatically, and we'll see how it works. How does it work? No, my slides. So for existing Donorfy users, it's really simple. So first of all, you get yourself verified with Facebook, that they give you verified charity status. You would download your multi-day transaction report from Facebook on as regular a basis as you want to, and then you just simply import it into Donorfy. So we'll drag and drop it into the space in Donorfy, which we'll have a look at in a moment. If you are not using Donorfy yet, the first step would be just to set up your Donorfy CRM, and you can do this on both Essentials and Professional. So the Facebook integration is available on both. And that's it. End of. No, we'll carry on. Now you can start managing your Facebook data alongside all of your other fundraising activity, and we'll have a look at how that works. So the first thing you're going to do is log into your Donorfy and navigate to the Facebook giving tools under integration. So you would find it here. Here's my home page. Under integrations on the left-hand menu, we've got Facebook giving tools. So we'll click into that. And the next thing we would do, and this is when you first set it up. So this, you wouldn't have to do this every time, but we'll go to the settings tab and you can set default import details. So you can see these 4 tabs are on the top here. On the settings tab, we have said, we've given Donorfy a bit of information. So what we're saying is every time I import my multi-day transaction report from Facebook, I want the default settings for all of those donations to go into these locations. So if we have an anonymous donor, we've set up an anonymous constituent record, so we want them all to go into this one. You could change that if you wanted to by finding or adding another constituent. We are saying that every time somebody opts in, we want the purpose that they've opted into or out of to be against our fundraising option. And again, that would be your list here of the opt-ins that you've set up. And the transaction, so you can say which campaign, bank account it's going into, and the product, fund and department. So as I say, that's all generic for every transaction that comes in from that spreadsheet. But you can override those at the next level down, and we'll show you that in just a second. So the first thing you do, log into your Donorfy, find the Facebook giving tools under integrations, go to the settings tab, put in your default import details, and would find it there. And then day to day, you're going to the same place. So you would go into your Facebook, find the multi-day transaction report, and you're going to add that into Donorfy. So it would look a little bit like this from Facebook. We would come into Facebook giving tools again. We'll come into the upload tab, and your multi-day transaction report that you've downloaded from Facebook, you would just drag and drop it into this space here. Immediately that you've done that, you'll start to see the detail here on the fundraisers and donate buttons page. So what this is showing is a list here of all the ways that people could have donated to you via these channels of Facebook and Instagram. So this is the, and you can see the type here. So the buttons, the birthday fundraisers, the generic fundraisers, and any Instagram sticker stories here. So they're all listed out here. And then we can see some details. So if we click into this one, we can see the title of it and where it's going. So this is picking up those generic settings, but you might want to change that. You might think, oh, actually, I'm going to change the name of it. It doesn't make sense to everybody who's looking at it, so I'll do some editing. So you could change the description, and you could change where that information is coming into in your Donorfy system. If you changed any of that, so let's say that I actually don't want it to go to the general fund, I'd like it to go to my Barn Owl fund. If you change that detail, I also want to make sure that it adds that detail to any previous donations given through this button here. So I would say yes, and that would backdate those changes. Let's just go back to the data there. So we've downloaded our multi-donor transaction report from Facebook, and we've uploaded it into Donorfy. And we can see where we do that. There's a little note here. So when you download this report from Facebook, behind the scenes, Donorfy is using all this information to map the data into your Donorfy. So it's really important that you never change anything about this file. Don't rename it, don't add or remove anything from here. Simply download it from Facebook. It'll appear in your downloads here, into the upload, drag and drop into here, and we'll do the rest. So then you can see all the data here. So if your file isn't uploading, that could be a reason why. This is just a slide. It'll be more useful to you after the call, but this just shows you where to find that report in Facebook. And we're going to do a blog post that takes you through the process to get yourself verified on Facebook, and then also where to find the details to download that daily report, or weekly or monthly, however often you're going to do it. So what can you do with that data once it's in there? So we can set up message templates to post to the fundraiser so that you can start to build that relationship with the fundraiser. So now we've got the data in, we can see what it is that is the fundraising. So this one's a donate button, and we can see all the donations that have been paid into it as a sort of top level. If we have a look at this birthday fundraiser here, so we can see that it's Andrew who set it up. We can see that he's received £30 so far. We click in there, we can see the details, which we know we could change from the edit button. We can also see all the donations made to his birthday fundraiser line by line. And if they've given their permission, the constituents who have donated to him. If they're not in the database already, then they'll be added. If they are in your database, this data will just be added to their record. And if they donate anonymously, then as per your generic settings, they'll go into the anonymous donor constituent that you set up on your Donorfy. So some of the things that we can do here, so we've got create message, and you can see that we've already thanked Andrew here for setting up his birthday fundraiser. I can choose the messages that I want to send to this particular fundraiser, to Andrew, and I can set these messages up myself. So the way that I would do that is in the message center here. I can choose from a type of fundraiser. So in this case, it was a birthday fundraiser. So if I click in that one, you can see the messages that I have already set up. So that thank you one, I've put in some text here, and I've also decided I'm going to connect it to a form. So I want to get his consent to contact him for further information. I also want to find out a little bit more about him. So we don't get loads of data from Facebook, and this is a way that we can get that data, as well as thanking and building the relationship with our fundraiser and supporters. So up here, I have chosen to add in the Facebook info request form. And all I need to do is just copy this little bit at the top here, add it into my text wherever I want that link to sit, and that will pick up the correct form that I've created in my database and add it to this link. So what does that look like in action? Well, once you've set up your messages, we can see here, we've already thanked Andrew. So let's thank Avril for her birthday fundraiser. Oh, actually, we'll set up Fred's here. So we'll thank Fred. So we've got those messages set up already for birthday fundraisers. We'll hit thank you. And we're going to get a little message here. And what this is telling you is that because you've got a link in that thank you message, that link pre-fills some personal information about, in this case, Fred, so that he can see that we're thanking him directly, and we've taken the time to know him a little bit, and it allows him to fill in some extra information. So we don't want to post that directly to Fred's Facebook wall, because anybody else in his friendship group would be able to click that link and see all his personal details. So I've copied that message. Let's just go through that again. So I've gone into Fred's, I've chosen the message, I want to thank him. And once I've clicked that and got rid of the message that is a warning, it then takes me directly to his page. These links are live, so we've made it go to Robin's fundraiser instead. And I am then going to privately message Robin to thank him. So I'll post my thank you message, because you can see that the link is in there. And that link then goes to what I've prepared earlier, which is this form. So you can see that it's got pre-filled information. It would, in this case, it's Andrew Pritchard's. It would say Fred, because that's the person we're thanking. So it would have the personal details in there. So we send it as a private message. So just to recap on that, I choose the message I want to send. As soon as I've chosen it, let's do that again. It will give me the message. That's fine. I know I'm not going to post it directly onto his wall. I'm going to come into their fundraiser. I'm going to choose to send a private message, paste my message into there, and then send, so that they can then click the link. They'll find this form, they give me their consents, hopefully. That will all be mapped back against their constituent record in Donorfy. And on here, we can see that we've got an automatic thank you. We can remind ourselves that we've thanked Fred, in this case twice, but we've done the thank you here. So we can set up message templates to post to the fundraiser. We can create those pre-filled forms to gather contact preferences. The way that you would do that, so I showed you that I set up my thank you message in here, and I just chose a form from the list. And this is a list of forms that you've created, and you would do that in forms on the left-hand menu here. And you can find information about setting up forms in other deep dives and the knowledge base. So that's why it picks up that form from here. We can view all the fundraising activity of an individual in one place. So we can see all these channels, if you like. We can see the type of page that it is. We can see if we sent messages or not to the individuals. Actually, on the subject of messages, you can see here that some messages are not set up. That's because I wouldn't create a bunch of messages or message templates for a button, because I'm not thanking the button. So that's why that's showing there. And we know that if we click into it, let's go to Fred's again, we can see all the donations given to that fundraiser so far. We could have a look at Fred's record directly from here, and it will show me his active fundraising page. That's the one that we've just seen in the list, and any other pages that he's had previously. So let's have a look at one where he's got a few. If we have a look at Andrew Pritchard, he's actually done a lot more fundraising for us, which is what we'd like to see. Here we've got some of our Just Giving, we've got our Facebook, and hot off the press, soon you'll have Virgin Money Giving showing here as well. So we can see a bit of a snapshot of how engaged he is with us. We'll also see on his timeline all the soft credits that have come from the donations to his fundraising efforts. And if we click into that, we can see if we have the donor's details, who that donor was. And on the donor's constituent record, on their timeline, we'll see their donation as well. And we can see where they put in. So we know that we can set up message templates. We create those pre-filled forms to gather contact preferences and other details. We can view all the activity from that individual in one place, those fundraising, so the Just Giving, the Virgin Money coming soon, and the Facebook. We can see the details of the donor if they give their permission, and the soft credits to the fundraiser, which are on both timelines. We can also report on our fundraising activity from Facebook Giving Tools. So I've set up a couple, and as we know, our reports are our lists. So I've set up a couple. So I have got here P2P Facebook Giving Tools. So peer-to-peer, anything that's coming through a Facebook Giving Tools. And I've just reminded myself by giving it the name auto tag as well, that I set it up on auto tag based on anyone setting up a fundraiser, receiving donations in from Facebook Giving Tools. So this is showing me a list of all the activity on the Facebook side. So we've got Just Giving in there as well, so I could filter that out. And how much has been received so far. And that's creating an auto tag. So if I look at Andrew Pritchard again, scroll down a little bit, I can see that he's got the tag P2P fundraiser. That's not hugely explanatory, actually. It should, perhaps I might call that tag Facebook fundraiser. But I know that he's done some fundraising for us in that channel. And I can see him in that list that I've created. I've also got another list in here that shows me transaction payments. Let's have a look at that one. So I've got a list that shows me all my Facebook donations this month so far. So payment method starts with Facebook, and I've got between dates. So I could just go back as far as I like. We actually have in the previous months, but when we did it in test, there was nothing in the previous month. So I've done it between a really early date and today, but we could have is in this month, as you can see, next month, last month, this month. So I can see all that detail here. And as you know, you could keep filtering and filtering to add in all the other transaction types if you wanted to, so that you can see all that Facebook income against all your other income. So some of the things that we hope we've already thought about, the questions. I haven't had my beady eye on all the questions there, but I think the team are answering. So the first one, how do you verify your charity with Facebook? So that is a Facebook process, but what we're going to do is write a blog post, as I say, that will take you through all the steps to get yourself verified with Facebook. The most important thing is to just really make sure that you've given all the supporting evidence that they need. So they get quite specific with what they want. You need to be quite specific with what you give them. I haven't yet been verified by Facebook. Can you help? Again, it's a Facebook process, so we don't have the authority to intervene in that at all, but our blog post will help you get through that process as quickly as possible. If your file won't upload, so if you have come into Facebook Giving, you've set up your settings, and you've come into upload and you've got your multi-day transaction report and you've dragged and dropped it into here, but it's giving you an error message underneath, it won't upload. The reason might be that you are not set up correctly in Facebook. So just make sure that Facebook has registered you as a UK charity receiving donations in pounds and not US dollars. Donorfy won't import any transaction that's based in US dollars into a Donorfy that's set up to show pounds. So I'm presuming everybody on the call has their Donorfy set up as a sterling. So if anything in your report was US dollars, it would just discount and discard those. So Facebook just occasionally gets it wrong, so we just double check that. Also, ensure that that file from Facebook hasn't been altered in any way, even renaming it. So as we said earlier, simply download it from Facebook. That's what it looks like. Download it, you'll have it in your download, and drag and drop straight away. Don't rename it, don't alter anything in there. It's the back end of our coding that will help to map it back in. So we need everything to stay exactly the same. Can you override the default campaign for a specific fundraiser type? Yes, you can. So as we saw earlier, these settings are the default settings for all of the information that gets dragged and dropped into the upload from one spreadsheet. So you're just saying that overall, I want them to go to these places. But actually, you might look at Avril's birthday fundraiser and say, well, actually, I know that Avril wanted that to go to a different place. So I'm going to edit that. She'd like that to go to the building fund, and the product for that in my in my system is donation, and I'm going to associate that with the major donors team, for example, and save the changes. So now specifically for that fundraiser, we've overridden those generic settings. So go to the individual line in fundraisers and donate tab and edit, as we've just seen. The income is going to the wrong location in Donorfy. Again, change the default settings in the settings tab. So if it's all going to the wrong place, then we'll just come back to our settings and say, actually, every time we drag and drop that document, we want everything to come into our building fund instead of our general fund. And we can change that here. If I change the defaults, can it apply to all donations prior to the change? The answer to that is yes, again, as we saw earlier. So if we have a look at this and we were to go into, let's go into Andrews this time. So we're going to edit it. We are going to change, let's say, the campaign. So actually this is for, oh, do we want to go there? Let's not, okay. I said Christmas for the first time. Christmas 2020 campaign. So we've changed that, and it's going to ask us if we want to apply those changes to previous donations as well as future. We say yes, we save the changes, and it will backdate all of that information. So yes, the defaults can apply to all donations prior to that change. Someone set up a fundraiser, but I can't see it in Donorfy. Why is that? And the reason for that is that the fundraisers, so the event, the button, or the birthday fundraiser, whatever it might be, will only appear in your download list and in Donorfy once a donation has been made to it. So what we're looking at on this list here, let's just close these down. These are the events, if you like, and inside them are the list of donations. So if there are no donations yet to this donate button, this post donate button that you set up, this one won't appear in your list here at all. As soon as it does receive some, then this will appear in your list. So there are a number of resources that you can look at to find more information. As we said earlier, this video will be recorded and we'll put it onto our YouTube channel. There are also, this link here will take you to all of our Facebook Giving Tools articles on the knowledge base. Our YouTube channel is available with this recording, but it also has other recordings on it as well. Don't forget Donorfy chat on Facebook. You can ask us questions, you can ask your colleagues questions, so other Donorfy users. Facebook social good information page I've just put on there, you might find that useful, but as I say, we are going to do a blog post that will give you all the information you need to get verified with Facebook. So that is the end of the presentation.